All right, call the meeting to order. Callie, you'll take roll call.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Stephen Clark, Council.
Present.
Tyler Martin, Council.
Present.
Tim Ficken, excused. Dan Sabrowski, Council.
Everyone rise to the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it's on.
That's not right.
I hope it's on. Yeah, it's on. If Tyler can hear you, it's on.
I can hear Callie the best. I cannot hear you guys like I normally can.
All right, give me a second to mess with the audio, make sure we're getting everything.
Thanks.
I want to make sure we get the whole, every microphone. I'm gonna call Emily real quick. We're having issues with mics. There we go. I got it.
Okay. All right, going on. I entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 5th, 2025.
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve payables list for August 19th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve the financial reports, balance sheet, detailed income statement, and trial balance for the period ending July 2025.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025-16, a resolution approving the contract with the city of Casper for transportation services.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Did you get that, Kelly? Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. All right, that brings us to our first person of the evening, Aaron Chateau, if you are present, sir. Just a brief introduction. Aaron is our guy who does our background checks. And so he wanted to, I wanted him to come in and just give a brief summary of what his background checks involved. And I'll let you take it from here and you can take the floor, sir.
So my name's Aaron Shadow. I own JDC Investigations out of Casper, Wyoming. Retired from the Natrona County Sheriff's Office back in 2019 as investigative sergeant. I've been through first trainings and backgrounds, as well as interrogation techniques. So since 2008, I've been involved in background checks for the Natrona County Sheriff's Office, and I continue that even today. I also do backgrounds for government agencies across the state of Wyoming and private entities, more public entities for businesses. We'll start with the background. I think the best way to go is kind of like just give you a rundown of how we do a background. The background, I don't know who I should be presenting.
Just talk loud and let everybody listen.
But essentially what I do is I end up getting a packet. It's employment history and references and everything like that. I immediately go on line and look these people up to kind of see if there's anything bad out there. And then I reach out to them, conduct what we call an integrity interview. That's where we sit down and talk. Some of these interviews are anywhere between, I mean, some of them for a young kid at a fire department may only be an hour. For something that you're vetting is anywhere between 2 and 4 hours, generally, at least 2 hours. And so we discuss everything really bad, if anything, in their background. We talk about alcohol use, drug use, and that all determines on the policy of the agency that you're actually doing a background for. Depending on like 1 year marijuana use, if you've done it within the last 12 months, they're automatically disqualify, or any other drugs, 5 years unless they stuck a needle in their arm. And most of the time, those are not, they're unable to go forward. Talk about criminal history, and that's detected and undetected crimes. So this is going to go all the way back to high school, and that's going to go all the way through until they adults, if they had any arrest records or anything like that. If you're working for a law enforcement agency, generally they can go ahead and do what you call a III NCIC, which kind of gives you all their arrest records and everything like that. We're going to go through family history. It's going to be really early childhood, growing up as teenagers, going into adult. Going to talk about his parents, their spouse, their children. Of course, we're going to talk about financial statement. And truly, like we're looking for somebody that, is responsible with that, where they're just not spending or in major debt. We go over employment history. That's and that generally goes 10 years back. Sometimes we will go as many as 20 for specific reasons. Talk about references and acquaintances. We dive deep into your personal history. We search social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Snap, TikTok. See if you have anything in there that's like anything like where you're wanting to overthrow the government or have any issues with entities or what have you. Of course, we request that you have a driver's license, a birth certificate to ensure that you're a United States citizen, because most of the agencies I work for expect you to be a U.S. citizen. Make sure you have a Social Security card. If you're in the military, we review the DD-214. Check on your if you got an honorable discharge or what the characteristic of that discharge was. And again, we get a credit report for the kind of really like to know what your credit score is and see if you're responsible. Once the integrity interview is completed, we start contacting your spouse, your family members, in-laws, parents, then your references, and then the employment history. And there's a questionnaire that we kind of dive in when we talk about employment history. It's a little different questionnaire than what we would go with your references. We're going to contact previous coworkers, current and previous employers. And then essentially what happens is once the background is complete, a report is generated and then given to whatever entity that we're working for at the time. And that generally has a recommendation on it, whether we believe that the person has integrity, is fit to serve, and then that is then presented to the agency. I want to make it clear that the reports don't belong to me. They belong to the entity that I or my guys are working for, doing the background. And then I think the biggest thing here is we need to kind of go on that background to a vetting process. Okay. So we've done that. We've done all that work now. Now we're going to vet this guy. And when we vet candidates, we do everything that was completed in the background phase. We look for leadership abilities and skills. What can they bring to the department, office, or private company that we work for? I mean, really, we're looking for their experience and knowledge. We conduct more extensive backgrounds when we're vetting people. So a normal background, you're probably reaching out to, 13 to 15 people. When you're vetting, it's generally anywhere between 20 and 30 people, depending on how deep we're diving into it. And during that process, we contact your previous subordinates. And I think that's where it really kind of digs in. We ask about their leadership style. The person we're vetting, we want to know if the subordinates, if they were a good leader. We want to know if they're approachable. We want to know how they handle themselves in stressful situations. And really, we're looking to see if they're a leader. We're not looking, I mean, we're certainly looking for that individual that's retired on duty and all he's there to do is collect a paycheck. That's certainly not somebody that you guys would want or any of the other agencies that I work for. And then we reach out to the previous supervisors, we contact them, ask them, is he going to be a good candidate? We kind of want to know what their beliefs are on him and their leadership skills, because a lot of those would be the chief of police or the lieutenant and this guy's a sergeant or what have you. And then, we really are looking to see if they have integrity and if they have a good moral compass. So
I guess I have a question. How many of these have you done?
backgrounds or vetting?
Both.
Oh, I'm taking a wild stab. Since 2008, probably at the sheriff's office, I probably did 300 or 400 since we own this company. I'd probably do between, I'd say pretty close to 100 a year or maybe more. So, I mean, you got to realize that I work for several government agencies across the state of Wyoming, as well as private entities. So I'm sure it's somewhere in the thousands.
Pretty well versed in it.
I would hope so. I've been doing it for a long time, since 2008. So is that 17 years?
I guess the question, what have you had? I want to say what failure rate. Have you had somebody slip through the cracks on you that surprised you how you might have got through?
So I think I can answer that. I think very seldom that occurs. You're
Sounds
gonna
pretty
find
thorough.
something in their background that is going to be a disqualifier. I mean, I can tell you this, I have not recommended people and the agency has hired them. And then within a year, they have problems. So, I mean, I don't want to speak. I mean, I'm not, the undersheriff's not here, or the sheriff. I did work for them for many years. And when I'm done with the background, I can generally tell whether they're going to pass polygraph or if they're going to fail psychologically.
Right on.
No, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Right on. Well, moving on. Mr. Holscher, you have the floor, sir.
Mayor and council, you have my report. I don't think I have anything to add to it. So that be it, unless there's any questions.
We don't have any. Pretty easy one for you, I think. Any questions from council?
No, not right now.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Cavalier.
Mr. Mayor, just have a follow-up on my report from the last meeting. We've done a little more research into some of the coatings for that section of sidewalk that's failing. And had some conversations with both the contractor that installed the concrete and the contractor that replaced some of the concrete a year or two ago. And I'm a little less sure that a coating option may be the best solution. In talking to the contractor that replaced the concrete a couple of years ago, he said that when they were digging it out, it was very crumbly, not really structural at any point anymore. So my thought and my recommendation to move forward is that we do some test holes, just core some 4-inch samples through the concrete and see the condition of the concrete in 3 or 4 different places along the stretch and see if it's crumbling, then we figure out how we can limp it along long enough to figure out how to replace it. And if it's not crumbling, then we can move forward with doing a test section for that coating that we talked about at the previous meeting. It's a common solution if the substrate is solid enough to handle it. So that's where we're at with that one.
Cool, man.
That's all I have for you.
You need authorization to do it, or you just make it so?
I think we'll just, there's not much expense involved with it. So it's really just to go out with a 4-inch coring bit and core some holes and put them back with some concrete and see what we see.
Right on. Any questions for?
No, yeah, I was gonna ask you what the repair is on those core samples. It sounds like you use concrete back.
Yeah. We'll use probably just a sack of Quikrete and
Everything can crumble around for repair.
yes. Just that when people are shoveling, they'll hit one solid cylinder of concrete.
Yeah, it'd be good to know what's going on with it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Chief?
Mayor Council. Yeah, my written report, couple things to add for you real quick. Jake just got back from Alaska on the 15th. Did a 42-day stint up there for wildfire as equipment manager and ground support unit leader. Brush 11 is on their way back from California as of this morning. They should hit the department tomorrow afternoon, I would assume. And then basically build out another fire again. So we're about 17,000 on that bill that I sent to the state. And then as soon as Brush 11 gets back, they'll go back on the board nationally again. More than likely, they'll end up in California again. So other than that, did the fire and life safety inspection at Barnum School on Monday. About 11 deficiencies were noted. They were all minimal, a lot of egress, fabric found over light coverings that were not fire retardant, that type of stuff. But other than that, the walkthrough was pretty good.
Cool. Anything for Chief?
I'm good.
Okay. That was easy enough. Dustin, you're up.
Here in council, you have my report. A couple things to add. I put an extra piece of paper up there. Just my ideas for Antelope Park. Something for you to think about. Just an idea I had based on the primary driver of the idea was that section of grass gets so much foot traffic from the parking lot to the splash pad that we can't keep the grass healthy.
Is that the orange?
Yeah, the large orange rectangle. That's my ideas for extra picnic shelters. And I mean, this year, there's been a lot of use. The new AstroTurf is very popular. People love it. It creates a continuous corridor between the playground and the splash pad. And there's families camped out on the grass all over on hot days. And so extra picnic shelters would get used. I think the public would probably appreciate that. Anyway, it's just an idea I had. And it was driven by the fact we can't keep grass growing in the one section by the parking lot. And then a couple other things to add to my report. I talked to Superior Signs today, and the owner of Superior Signs is willing to stripe the town streets at no cost this year using the paint that we already have purchased. Which I thought that was a great deal.
It was a good deal. Did they say why they would be willing to do that for free?
It was Tara is who I talked to, and she was relaying the message from Frank, Mr. Kalestinsky. She said he's willing to do it this year to try to form a relationship with the town. I think and so.
Do you want to buy a striper?
Well, yeah. No, he didn't say that outright. He said he may know somebody who might be interested in Montana to buy it, but I don't have any information on that yet. But anyway, so the offer was he'll do it at no cost at as his schedule and weather permit. And so I said, great, we'll roll with it. We'll do whatever we can to help him get that accomplished.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. Yeah, let's make that happen.
And then the other thing that's not on the report that I just wanted to mention was the EPA lead service line. I don't know the status of the legal challenge. I was hoping maybe Mr. Holzer could.
I do not know if what has happened in that suit. As you know, we were waiting back to hear, but don't know if the court ever generated a result on that or not.
Okay. So still just kind of waiting and watching on that. I have been able to update some of the lead service lines based on new records I found. So we've been able to eliminate some of the zones as not leads.
Okay. Well, I like the shelter idea. Have you commiserated with Ray at all on this?
Just today, briefly, just kind of talk. So,
okay. Let's get some prices on it. See how much it's going to cost. Maybe we can if we have it in the budget this year, we can approve it, or maybe,
Where would we pull from the budget for these? I think the concrete path from the parking lot up to that walk path is a great idea.
I believe there's a line item for parks improvement, but I'm not 100% positive in the budget.
Yeah, how much is in it? How much is left in it? And see, but that
Ray may know. Callie probably has access to that right there, but I don't know off the top of my head.
we don't need it immediately. We can
right.
save it for next meeting, but just kind of get a price, see what it would cost, and see if it's in the budget or if we'll do it next year.
Pre-2020, it was 16,000 for the one at High Plains.
18.
Was it 18? 18,000. So I'm
So
assuming.
take that and double it times 3.
Just saying. Mr. Unaffiliated back there, I'm sure remembers to the dime. Anyway, so that just to give you an idea of what it was for that one. And I'm assuming we do about that same size if we're going to do one. And that included the tables and everything, I think, plus the wind screen that ended up getting ripped down.
We wouldn't need a wind.
Wouldn't need a wind screen. No. So take $100 off.
I do have one question. So with the hydrants, have we been testing them for flow?
I know that Justin and the guys went out once. I don't know if they've been out since then. I haven't had a chance to talk to Justin to see where he was at on that.
Okay.
He's been flushing as the schedule allows, but we haven't done any actual flow testing. We do have that data from last year. We flow tested a lot of them last year for the ISO thing.
I think the only thing they flow tested this year was Zuni so far.
Right. We not with the flow trailer. We've just been flushing and making operations.
Gotcha.
I mean, he's recording the gallons flushed, but
okay.
We're in the full.
Are we keeping up with the reporting we need for ISO in that regard?
We will. And like I said, once the engine gets back from California, I'll have one guy in-house Monday through Friday for me, so we can get out and do that stuff. So we can actually do flow rates for
I
everything.
just want to make sure we don't fall behind on that.
Yep, nope.
Have that issue again. So perfect.
I do have something else too. I had a citizen come to me and tell me that their water pressure is low on Silvertip. Thank you. So if we could check it and see if maybe we got a closed valve somewhere or if we're missing something. Do some sleuthing. I would greatly appreciate it, and so would the good citizen. All right, does that cover you?
Yes, sir.
Anything?
I'm good.
All right. Parks and Rec, Mrs. Wharton, are you out there? Oh, there you are. Hey. Perfect. Thank you. Anything for Parks and Rec? Oh, okay, petitions and public comment. There is a little bit of a change. If members of the public are going to come up and they're going to ask questions, the timer is not going to stop. You've got 5 minutes, especially considering the amount, how many people we have in here, to give everybody an opportunity to speak for your public comment. You have 5 minutes. And with that being said, the time is now yours.
That was me.
I'm gonna start you guys off, PC.
Perfect.
And it's on the paint striping.
I don't know how easy that is, but go ahead.
It's easy. Mills and Evansville, the county is still doing our striping. We just have to provide the paint. So my question is, the previous maintenance head, did he do something to irritate the county that the county cut us off? Or was that a story he gave to get a new toy?
Excellent question.
That is a good question.
And I don't know. I don't know. It could be both for all I know. So,
It's great that somebody's offering, sounds like one time only,
right.
but the county's still doing Evansville and Mills.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Dustin and I have been talking about that, so we're gonna follow through on that and
Okay. I can get you the number of our contact if you.
absolutely.
Okay.
I would appreciate it.
That's it.
That was not too bad.
Oh, and then one more thing. When you guys are kind of muttering, we can't hear anything back there. So if you're gonna louder.
You're saying you want us to speak louder?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other petitions or public comment?
Mr. Mayor, I'm Matt Keating. My wife Jennifer, we attend, we're not Farmland residents, but thank you for the opportunity. Councilman. I don't know if we ever reached out. So we attend Our Lady of Fatima Church in Casper. Our Lady of Fatima Church started at the Casper Airport during World War II. And after the war, it was moved to CY Avenue. And it was, the pastor there was Dan Sabras, Father Dan Calabrese. That's right.
Got a pass, but not that good.
Yeah. But ultimately, what he did was he worked on the Manhattan Project, and he determined where the uranium is located in the bomb, as I understand it. And then when they touched the bomb off, he went in the seminary. So our country at that time gathered together. I know it was a secretive project in the 1940s, but they were making efforts to get an advantage over other countries before they got the advantage over us. And I see some real similarities between that and the position that we're in today with the race for AI, quantum mechanics, and all of these things. There is a race to develop that, and in those efforts, there's a huge demand for electricity. Our electric bills never been higher. Last year and a half, I've been involved with a company that's been participating in building some of the data centers they've got in Cheyenne. There's 20 plus data centers in Cheyenne. Meta is going to build the largest one in the world here in Wyoming. They're being built in North and South Dakota. They're built down in Arizona, and wherever they're built, the electric rates are slowly increasing. Down in Arizona, the residents around where that data center is are increased 30%. So look, we also have 8 kids in this community, and our kids, I think, like every other family, are wanting to have opportunities available for our children. So when they're of age and moving out, that they've got opportunities. I'm excited about the opportunity for somebody like Radiant and others that might come to Natrona County, and that they might attract other companies that are similar to participate in that race to keep the advantage that we need, I think, other countries are racing for that aren't necessarily our friends. And so it's an opportunity, whatever, for growth, for towns like yourselves that are sales tax based, et cetera, to grow. So you guys are elected. I know sometimes the job that you do seems thankless, but so tonight I will give you a thank you and thank you for what you do. I'm grateful for what you do, but I really believe that you're here at a pivotal moment because you guys are very much going to help influence the future of bar none. So what's it going to be? Is it going to be, will you wither on the vine eventually? Or my hope and my prayer is that we're going to have opportunity for us as a community and for our families. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Matt.
Any other petitions or public comment? There we go.
Thanks for letting me come up here. I don't know if I can submit this for a public record as well. It's a short statement. Just read it. I don't know what the process is, if it matters.
If you do you want to read it and append it to the record or just one?
Oh, no, for the record.
Well, if you want to read your statement, you can. If you just rather submit a written record.
Oh, I'll read it. I wrote it. It's pretty eloquent.
Okay.
Not really. Pursuant to section 8-1-2 and 2-1-7 of the town.
Hi, what's your name? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Robert Kwasnicki, 2230 Inca Trail, resident here at Barnum. So pursuant to section 8-1-2 and 2-1-7 of the town of Bar None Code, I object to the approval of any conditional use permit or zoning change for Radiant Industries. Nuclear spent fuel storage presents an unacceptable risk to the health, safety, and welfare of residents and is not a permitted use under the I-1 or I-2 industrial zoning districts. So that was my statement for the record. And so I haven't been following this too long, but from all my research, I haven't found any evidence that any resident of Bar None before Radiant and before we started talking about nuclear energy came up here in a formal matter or in any capacity and said, hey, it'd be great if our town pushed for right behind, our town boundary, nuclear energy and nuclear waste storage. So since it's been brought up, and I believe it came from Casper as a thing, there has been mixed feelings. There's people that are, for it, that are, kind of nonchalant in between. And there's a whole group of residents of Bar None that are opposed to it. Some, and a large number that are pretty passionately opposed to it. And I bring this up because as a town council, you are elected to represent our town of Bar None, not the town of Casper, not Natrona County, not the state legislature, not any landowners or business interests, the residents of this town. And anyway, just wanted to point that out, that the interests of the town council is for the residents of Bar None. And it's stated quite clearly in the town code. So I would just ask that you consider your positions, which, by the way, you're entrusted with a lot. The time, your personal time to work town matters, but also the town is giving you probably the greatest burden, and that's trust. And trust that you would be truly representative of the residents of this town. And we don't have to agree on anything, but certainly there's enough residents here who are opposed, and on whether they're right or wrong, right? Whether, they could disagree with me that I don't find any safety concerns. I have other concerns about it. But why divide the community? And if there's a large portion of it and we never asked for it, why are we pushing for it? And I know this is not on, we have no say in it. This is a county issue, but it sure would be nice for our elected representatives to maybe be a little more vocal about probably what the majority of the town residents feel about having nuclear waste storage in our backyard. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other petitions or public comment?
Hey,
And Nicholas Barnum. So I was watching the minutes from the last meeting from 2 weeks ago when we were all here, which would have been August 5th. And I found something that kind of confused me. So I'm here tonight to ask for some clarity so that I can be straight when I'm trying to make decisions about what's happening in town and moving forward. So there was a discussion between Mrs. Sebion and council members. And do I say your last name? Holscher, is that correct? Attorney Holscher? So during that discussion, it was regarding water and sewer infrastructure being funded through the Business Ready grant through Advanced Casper. And that the town's inability to legally deny utilities, we had a legal inability to deny utilities to a lawful business. So that's what it says in the minutes, and that's what I watched. And then looking back in the minutes from February 4th, there was a statement in the minutes here that said, Attorney Holscher stated the town can't say no, but if the town determines they can't or won't provide water and sewer services to the facility, it would kill the project. Mayor Boyer stated he was not interested in killing the project and believes the idea of pulling that inside of our boundary is a good idea. So is there a difference then between like the grant being involved? Is this a whole water and sewer thing? Because to me, that says two very different things. And I'd like some clarity on that.
Okay, so you're asking, are you saying that we're not obligated? Is that what you're asking?
Well, yeah, here it says, if you won't provide water and sewer services to the facility, it would kill the project. And then here it says the town's inability to legally deny utilities to a lawful business. And that regarding water and sewer infrastructure. So I'm just confused. Can you deny them water and sewer, or can you not deny?
We can, I mean, we could, but it opens it, well, yes, but it opens us up to litigation. So, and that maybe I misspoke and maybe wasn't recorded properly,
This
but
is in the minutes.
okay, well,
Also on.
okay, so if we deny them services and they have a legal right to services, they can sue the town. And correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, and I don't want to be wrong, but would we lose that case?
Well, what I think the minutes meant is that the town could always say no. But the problem with that is that the town's ability to deny water and sewer to a legal entity has to be based on some legal basis to do so. You can't really pick winners and losers. And so what I think that comment probably meant is that if the town council decided not to supply water and sewer, it would presumably have a detrimental effect on the project, but that's what the town is doing. And then after that, and this municipality, of course, already provides a lot of water and sewer south of here, including to some new projects and to some new projects that are going in. It's exposed because at that point, it's making a value judgment as to which customers that are otherwise legally qualified to seek water and sewer would receive them based on basically a political determination. Does that make sense?
Somewhat. So ideally, from August 5th, in talking about utilities, we were saying we were going to run them down to Antelope. Is that correct?
I think we're hooking in at McMurray, isn't it? Wasn't that what they were
The
pulling?
water
Is
water
that-
and sewer's different.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure it said down to Antelope. I'll rewatch that again and I'll talk to you more about it at the next meeting.
Okay, something was mentioned about going down to Antelope last meeting, but I don't know exactly where the connections would be.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the connections are at. Yeah.
There's no firm plans on any connections.
Yeah, that,
So we don't, and
Yeah.
the town of Barnum doesn't have a say in what they propose. So they can propose whatever they want to. And then if the town at that point, we would go through the approval process to say yes, no, maybe, and then figure that out. But there's been talk about tying in at McMurray, talk about extending services all the way down to Antelope, talk about extending services down to Prairie. So at this point, it's just been discussion. There's been no firm plans. There's nothing approved by Wyoming DEQ or the town of Barnett.
Howdy.
All right, well, I got some financials. I was able to take a 7-year look back. So thank you for hooking up with Callie. I did pay a little extra to get the extra financials, and it sounds like we only keep 7 years. If that's the case, I would advise you may want to keep longer, even though IRS only requires 7, just from a budgeting purpose. It could be helpful for you guys. They create me, and they weren't in the software. So yeah, just something for the future, maybe to make sure you have it. I did take a look at the income and the expenses at a high level. I didn't have time to dig into everything. I don't think you would have wanted me to anyways. But the previous comment, just as an overall analysis, the income over the last 7 years has exceeded COLA. So that's a good thing. What I do see though is obviously in the last 2 years compared to the last 7, a huge increase in expenses, but that's going to be expected because of the 2 big projects with the water and the community center. What I would urge you though, to take into consideration, I've already talked to Tyler, so this is not any news to him, so he may have passed this along as well to you all. But I would highly ask the council to really take some cautionary moves going forward, because those are such 2 large projects. One of them, the water, probably you have a good idea of income and expenses within year 2, I would imagine. A building can take several years to really understand it, especially community center, because you don't really know the dues, the income side of that yet. Fitness equipment is very difficult in my experience, especially giving lending to gyms. Those can be very unpredictable, can be very costly, hard to replace outside of just a normal facility. So one thing I just wanted to caution the council is that before taking on a whole lot of any other big projects, you may want to just pause or slow down. It would be my only recommendation. Just get some history of this building, and be confident with it. I know that the police department is something that, it's very near and dear to the community, it sounds like. I would just caution that we don't spend too much too fast, because it will take time just to even understand the budget of what we have today. So I just wanted to definitely bring that to light, and happy to answer any of your questions you may have.
I don't have any. Do you guys have any?
oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment?
Dan Wilson, Barnum resident. Before I started, it's interesting, we heard about concrete issues, pretty interesting. In Wyoming, we believe in integrity, straight talk, responsibility, neighbors looking out for each other. When someone gives their word here, it means something. When someone says they'll stand up, face the people, they do it. And when someone does business here, they take responsibility for every risk at every level, as well as every reward. Above all, in Wyoming, neighbors take care of neighbors. That's how we've survived winters, economic ups and downs, everything else the state has been through. Radiant has shown they don't share these values. They cancel meetings when questions get tough. They dodge straight answers about safety and waste. They tell us one story in the public and leave out critical data in private. That is not integrity. That is not neighborly. Now let's talk about the annexation and zoning. Annexation must be in the community's best interest. It is not an automatic process. Does this serve bar none's interest, or does it serve a California company's bottom line? If that land does get annexed, the zoning must reflect the surrounding use, agricultural, residential, kind of like what you guys were up here with the Sharpies doing. To sidestep that and rezone for industry just to grease the skids of Radiant would be a violation of your oath of office and of Wyoming law currently. Wyoming already has laws on the books that restrict nuclear waste storage. Local zoning can't override state law. These reactors, without a doubt, produce high-level nuclear waste. Radiant hasn't even run a live test, and we're 100% for this project. Council speaking. They want to build a factory to mass produce mini reactors and ship them across the country, but they can't give us straight answers about how to handle the most dangerous part of the process, the transportation, getting it back here. It's the most critical point. And like states like ours, reputation matters. We don't forget who kept their word and who didn't. Radiant is asking us to take on all the risk while they keep all the reward. That's not Wyoming way. So I ask you, as elected officials who swore an oath to uphold the law and serve our community, will you stand by the residents of Bar None and with values of honesty, respect, and neighbor helping neighbor? Or will you hand over the land and our trust to a company that has broken the values from the start? We deserve straight talk, deserve honesty, and deserve better than Radiant. Kind of one comment I'll make too about the zoning map. I noticed one red dot. What was that for?
Part of town.
You'd have to tell us what.
You gotta be
pretty northy specific. One red dot. Bring it up. I've got 2 minutes.
Is this is the one?
I don't know. We're talking. It's below the water tower.
Couldn't point it out.
The valves, or maybe
This one here.
Yes.
On there.
What is that?
B11. That's B2 highway business is what it's zoned for right there.
What is the definition of B2?
I couldn't put it offhand right now.
Larry, got an answer?
Probably. Figure out what B2 is.
Really loud on your mic. Sorry, Tyler. They're in the book. The only one sounds like that.
Books.
What's that?
You looking for those books?
Well, it had.
All right. The purpose of Yes, the purpose of Highway Business District is intended for commercial businesses which generate higher traffic volumes and require access to arterial streets. Permitted uses include automobile and truck washes, automobile sales, automobile service stations, automobile truck and trailers, bed and breakfast, churches, clubs and lodges, commercial laundries, convenience establishments that are high volume, drive-in through facilities, restaurants, packaged liquors, branch banks, frozen food lockers, grocery stores, hotels, motels, medical laboratories, offices, general and professional, parks, playgrounds, historic sites, golf courses, and other similar rec facilities, pawn shops, personal service shops, pet supplies, rec centers, truck and car stops, other retail businesses as deemed appropriate. Conditional uses include parking lots, public utility and public service installations and facilities, including repair and storage facilities, and other compatible uses as determined by the commission. Accessory uses include use that is clearly incidental and secondary to the operation of the permitted use. The use is commonly associated with the operation of the permitted use, and it is operated and maintained under the same ownership and on the same lot as the permitted use.
Perfect. I think there's a couple more that fit under that category. Just was curious about that red dot. Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment?
Thank you for having me here. My name is Samantha Fowler and I'm a concerned citizen from Casper, Wyoming. The reason I'm here today is because I would like to speak about how the residents of Bar None have been treated during this whole issue. I would like to build upon what Dan has said. The Wyoming way is simple. We take care of our own. We speak plainly and we expect honesty. That is the foundation that this state was built on. When you live in a place where your neighbor might be the one who plows your road during a blizzard or helps you get your cattle out of a flood, you learn real quick who you can trust. Once trust is broken, it's really hard to get it back. Now, Radiant is a company who has already broken our trust. They have recently canceled meetings. They have brushed aside legitimate questions. They have avoided giving straight answers about risk, safety, and waste. If a company cannot show us honesty now at the beginning, why would we ever have it later when the stakes are higher? Now, annexation is a decision about the kind of community that Bar None wants to have. Annexation must serve the people of Bar None, not outsiders, not a California corporation, and not special interests. Zoning is not a game. If land is surrounded by agriculture and residential use, then that is what it should stay. Anything else is bending the law to fit a deal. This is not what you swore an oath to do. Let us remember something important. Wyoming state law already makes it clear that nuclear waste storage is not allowed. No zoning loophole changes that. Radiant, a company that has not even tested a live nuclear fuel reactor, tells us that they want to build a factory here to turn out these miniature reactors and haul them across the country, which opens doorways to so much more. They want us to shoulder this risk and they pocket the reward. This is not a neighbor, this is a taker. This town, this county, and this state, we deserve better. We deserve leaders who stand on the side of the people who live here, the ones who raise families here, the ones who bury loved ones here. We have generations to protect in our future. We deserve leaders who stand on the side of honesty and responsibility. Wyoming people are resilient, we are independent, and we are not easily fooled. We know the difference between a neighbor and a hustler. Radiant has shown us exactly which one they are. So my question is, will you stand with the people that put their trust in you, or will you side with a company that has already shown it cannot be trusted? That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment?
Hello, it's Lisa Lena. I'm fairly new to Wyoming, came here in January. I've lived near nuclear plants in Michigan, Ohio, New Hampshire. I just want to have it on the record that there's a National Academy of Sciences report called The Biological Effects of Ionizing Radiation. And I think they publish it every year, I'm not sure. But I've read this, and it basically says that there is no safe level of radiation. If you look at the Seabrook, New Hampshire power plant that was erected in 1990, it is now contaminating the oceans. And that area of the country has the highest level of childhood leukemia. Those are the risks. So we need to really think about putting waste here that's going to increase potentially our exposure to radiation when we already know what those effects are. When there's a National Academy of Science report saying no level is safe. So if you do have a leak, all of these families here are going to be affected. And I just want to say, having moved to Wyoming in the last 7 months, 8 months, you guys don't know what you got. This place is amazing. It's like the last sanctuary in the country. And you're looking to put more stores here, put more malls here. Consumerism, consumerism, consumerism. That's not what this state is really about. This state is about this beautiful geography. It's about this incredible community. I've never experienced a community like this before. And so I just want to reiterate what the other people have said. We've elected you to represent what we want. It doesn't, your opinion, no offense, but your opinion, it shouldn't feed into your decisions here. You have to be objective and you just have to say, this is what the people want. This is what the people don't want. I have to do what I was elected to do to represent them. That's what all I have to say. I'm obviously against it. I'm not against nuclear power. My husband worked at a nuclear power plant, but I am against a company that comes in, creates something that they ship to benefit people elsewhere and give us the waste and the potential bad downstream effects of that waste. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, City Councilor, Town Councilors, thank you. My name's Amy Womack and I'm a resident of Natrona County. I want to say first, thank you to all the people who've stood up here and voiced their opinions about Radiant and the project that's coming in. First off, I want to address the code of ethics, the code of the West, which we all live by. It says integrity and honesty. I think that we have had those discussions with integrity and honesty, and they're going to continue as long as we don't have the project firmly solidified in northern Natrona County. The people who want to work there, the people who work in our county are hardworking and self-reliant. That's another one of our code of the West. I believe that this is a project that is going to not only put Wyoming, but America first in the nation, in the world, in this technology. And for us to look at anything other than seeing the viability of this project, I understand that people are scared. Understand, but those scared values are old. They're old. I've been at the uranium symposium at the event center today. And the technology is cutting edge. So, and you as the leaders of this community have seen that cutting edge technology. So I implore you to stay steadfast in this resolution that we need to move forward and make Wyoming first in the nation. We want to be first. Do you want to sit back in days ahead and say, oh my gosh, we passed on an opportunity that put us first in the nation?
Yeah. Hey.
So I implore you, be steadfast. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Councilors.
Thank you.
Put in your back.
Hey, private now.
Think of the cash for.
Order.
For the sake of variety, I will also be speaking in support of Radiant. My name is William T. Wallace. I'm a lifelong resident in Natrona County. I graduated from NC. I went to Casper College, and I earned a bachelor's degree of science from the University of Wyoming. I stand before you not only as a citizen of this community, but as someone who has seen firsthand what we lose. An opportunity does not match the talent of our people. Wyoming has invested for years in the education of our young people only to watch them leave. We complain about our neighbors moving away, our brothers and sisters finding work elsewhere, our kids and grandkids leaving. And we complain about the state sending their workers here, but we do very little to keep our own. When I look back at my time in college, only a couple dozen of my peers remained in Wyoming, and only a handful stayed in Natrona County. My own brother went to Duke and is now working in biomedical research because there were no options for him here. I've watched friends chase higher paying, more exciting, and more technologically advanced careers in other states. They didn't want to leave Wyoming, but they had to if they wanted a future in cutting edge industries. Bringing in Radiant changes that equation. It creates the kind of high-skilled, forward-looking work that makes our young people think twice about leaving. And this is more than about one company. When we demonstrate that Wyoming is willing to take a place on the cutting edge, other industries will follow. Think about my brother or the friends that I've seen leave. Their interests are in diverse technologies, medicine, advanced manufacturing, research, and development. Right now, they don't see Wyoming as a place where that kind of innovation can happen. If we establish ourselves as a home for nuclear technology, we send a message. This is a place that is open to the future. We want to keep Wyoming, Wyoming. But if we don't create the opportunities, young Wyomingites will not be here to carry it forward. I've already written at length on TRISO fuel. You can find that at Cowboy State Daily. I've also written on the economic benefits. You can find that in Oil City News. I have written on fear mongering. You can find that also in Oil City News. So I won't repeat all of that tonight.
But I do want to talk about storage because that seems to be where a lot of these fears remain. Dry cask storage is the most boring part of nuclear energy. People on the internet keep saying that is the same answer, but often the answer is the answer. Used fuel is sealed in stainless steel canisters. These canisters have a compartment in them made of a neutron absorber, boron most of the time. That canister is then filled with helium gas. Helium is a stable element. Radiation does not pass through it easily or really at all, especially when it is further placed inside a concrete cask and cooled naturally through air circulation. There are no pumps, there are no moving parts, there's no power equipment. There isn't radiation escaping, and there is very strict review of the casks by the appropriate authorities. Dry cask storage has a much smaller footprint than an ordinary landfill. And unlike a landfill, it doesn't leak into the environment. Landfills are far more polluting and less contained than dry cask storage. If we can accept that, why do we fear the safer option? This is the reality. We've been talking about honesty. This is the truth. The fear comes from this outdated image of Cold War reactors and glowing barrels in some desert somewhere from movies and cartoons. The truth is that this technology is designed to be safe with multiple layers of redundancy. Another concern that I have heard tonight is this outside company concern. But let's be honest, nearly all of Wyoming's economy already depends on outside investment. Exxon runs the largest gas plant at Chute Creek, right here in Wyoming. ConocoPhillips is another major oil supplier, not from Wyoming. Walmart is the single largest private employer in Wyoming. Union Pacific Railroad has operated here for generations. Halliburton, McDonald's, Ford, they are not from here. Yet they employ our people, they pay taxes here, and they are part of our daily lives. So if outside companies are already part of our economy, then what is the problem with Radiant? It can't be its headquarters. It can't be about safety, and it can't be about jobs or maintaining our youth. So what is left? Fear. Fear of the unfamiliar. Fear of something that doesn't look like the past we're used to. But fear doesn't build a future. Truth does. The truth is that outside investment in innovation and trust is what has sustained Wyoming for generations. The only question is whether we will accept safe, forward-looking investment that strengthens our future or reject it because of some outdated concept of nuclear energy. So what do we have here tonight? What do we have here in the coming months and years? We have a chance to keep our youth. We have a chance to do it safely with technology that is not theoretical, not experimental, but proven. Since the 60s, we've had TRISO fuel. Since the 60s, we've had dry cask storage, and we have not seen any of these alleged failures. Thank you.
Thank you, Wallace.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Mitchell Groscott. I just wanted to talk about Radiant and how their project can affect our town when it comes to taxes in the foreign trade zone. First, how the state taxes nuclear power. Wyoming charges a flat $5 per megawatt hour tax on nuclear electricity, but that money all goes to the state, not to us in Barnard. Locally, the only real taxes we can count on are sales tax and property tax. Right now, our county sales tax is about 5%, but there's already been a bill in Cheyenne to get rid of sales tax on electricity. If that passes, Barnum would see even less benefit from this project. Second, when sales tax is and isn't collected, we will collect sales tax when Radiant buys materials and supplies here in Wyoming, or when they hire contractors or rent equipment. If they sell electricity to Wyoming customers, sales tax applies, but if that power is shipped out of state, we don't see a dime. If they sell the reactors themselves as generators, sales tax would only apply if the sale happens in Wyoming. If they sell them out of state or export through the trade zone, there's no tax here. And don't forget, some items, like certain manufacturing equipment, are already tax exempt under state law. Third, the foreign trade zone. Most of Natrona County is inside Foreign Trade Zone 157, which Radiant could use. The way the foreign trade zone works, companies can bring in parts and materials without paying duties or local inventory taxes until those goods enter U.S. commerce. That means Radiant can move big chunks of inventory taxes and their supply chain through the foreign trade zone and skip paying local taxes on inventory. The catch is bar none. Would still be the one providing police, fire, roads, and other services, even while our tax base shrinks. Bottom line, Radiant may call this an opportunity, but the way these tax rules and trade zones work, bar none could be stuck with the costs and very little of the revenue. Before anything moves forward, we need guarantees that our town won't get shortchanged. That's what I add. Nobody I know is afraid of nuclear.
Yeah.
Any other petitions of public comment?
Debbie Franklin, I'm not actually from Barnum, but the vicinity. And I just want to say, I originally came from Oregon, and where I grew up, not far from there was a nuclear plant in Hermiston, Oregon, which they lied to us, all of the Oregonians, for years, and it had leaked out into the land and into the water system. And I've seen personally massive damages done with the wildlife, with human life, and with water fowl. And it just continued, and they lied to us saying that everything was good when it obviously wasn't, but it took years to determine the outcome after the fact. So I'm totally against Radiant. I have seen firsthand the damages that it can cause, and even if there's just a little spot, it grows bigger. So I just want to say that, you know, I have kids and grandkids living here, and any kind of accidental anything could damage all of us here. And I've seen it, and it goes for miles and miles and miles. That damage, it just covers massive amounts of ground. And I just want to say I'm opposed to that. I've seen it, I've lived it, and I just want everyone else to know.
What was the name of that power plant?
I don't know the name of it. It's out of Hermiston, Oregon.
Okay.
Please write your name on the objection sheet, please.
Okay. Any other petitions or public comment?
Mark Newquist. People are not afraid in this town. We're everything but afraid. We don't live our lives in fear. We are self-independent, righteous people. I don't understand why everybody acts like we're scared because we actually read information and can form our own opinions. I believe every state. You know where I grew up? Southern California. Guess where I'm at? Here. Because this is where the work's at. This is where the land's still pure. This is where we're still free. This is where we have extremely limited government. I'm not willing to throw that down the drain to make $1. My children still live here and work here. They use their hands. So I'll tell you what, AI comes in here, all these tech jobs, all this medical field, it's gone, people. AI will be taking all your jobs. And this power shortage is something that we induced ourselves over 30 years ago. We've not been allowed to build another single power plant in the United States for over 30 years. It's awesome. Now they've got a solution. More nuclear waste and garbage. Thank you. Thank you. But I don't want it here. Not in the state, it's illegal. And two, the zoning and commissioning stuff you guys did earlier, it would have been nice to hear it. We can't hear nothing back there. It'd be nice if you guys had some microphones. Maybe there was one here so we could actually hear back there, because we can't hear anything that's going on. So, you know, I find that very disappointing that I showed up and I couldn't even know what was going on during the zoning meeting because there's no microphones anywhere. I mean, I'm sure everybody's sick and tired of not being able to hear, especially if you're in the back. I feel like we got to yell. I mean, I just my normal voice all the time, so it's okay for me. But hopefully everybody can hear. You know, and why are we in such a rush when it's not even tried, tested, or true yet? Why? and it's still against state law. And you guys talk about picking winners and losers all the time. That's what that business council does with the grants. They pick winners and losers all the time with our tax money, the backs of the Wyoming people. The benefit of few, an outside business, the McMurrays, the Trues. Should I continue the real money in the state that continues to get everything off the taxpayers' back to benefit themselves? I've had it with this crap. And I've had it with everybody saying we're scared. We are far from scared. I don't live my life in fear. And I know a lot of people in this state do not either, because that's why we live here. This is the hardest place in the world to live. And I'm honored to say I can live here and I can produce here. I don't want to throw all that away for nuclear waste or disposal on a chance that maybe, it might not leak in the next 100 years. What after that? What's in the next 1,000 years? This town will not be here. Anything happens here, this town, Casper, is gone. And they don't want to admit that. That's a 25-mile radius. If there's a disaster, heaven forbid, let alone a man-made one, we're putting a target right on our backs, folks. This is a bad idea, no matter which way you slice it. Terrible. That's all I got.
He's Mike.
Thanks. Any other petitions or public comment?
Good evening, council. Rosemary Saban, Natrona County resident. Councilman Sabrowski, you stated that this body could face litigation if the town does not support Radiant since the company was invited here. This statement implies that a legally binding contract exists. That raises the question, exactly when was such a contract signed without public notice of a hearing and an opportunity for public comment? Does such a contract exist?
What are we talking about?
A contract that would make it legal for them to sue you for not allowing them here? Have you signed any contracts?
No, we've not signed any contracts, no.
Okay. This town council has not held any formally scheduled meetings with notice to solicit feedback from the residents through public comment prior to any testimony or stance taken in support by town council members. Meeting minutes record that on May 6, 2025, a letter of recommendation to the Wyoming Business Council would be supported by all town council members. This body holds judicial authority. Therefore, a conflict of interest exists and requires recusal when any reasonable person could perceive a lack of impartiality. It has been stated repeatedly throughout social media comments, town council meeting minutes, and legislative testimony that Councilman Sabrowski and Mayor Boyer support Radiant's proposed nuclear manufacturing and storage facility north of Bar None. I have evidence of an ongoing text message conversation between a Bar None resident dating from July 19th through July 29th and Councilman Martin. Martin admits that he too supports Radiant Nuclear beyond what is noted in the previously referenced meeting minutes. A quorum no longer exists to legally facilitate any further support of Radiant Nuclear due to such conflicts of interest. These include, but are not limited to, annexation to circumvent an outside conflict and the residents which would arise if zoning were attempted. Annexation for the purpose of facilitating a means to alter the zoning to make such development feasible would be perceived by any reasonable person as a lack of impartiality by this council. Furthermore, private property rights end when they impose a financial burden on citizens, as it is one intent and purpose of zoning. This certainly would cost taxpayers for the installation of utilities, a parking lot, and an office building, which would recapture only a very limited amount of the 25 million, an excessive expense sought by all proponents in pursuit of the Wyoming Business Council Business Way Community Grant. Zoning's first purpose is the protection of public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. The phrase "to provide for the general welfare" appears in the preamble of the U.S. Constitution and in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1. Considerations of objectivity rather than bias are also duly compromised by this council's lack of discretion and its well-documented lack of impartiality. Zoning resolutions are adopted so land uses are not incompatible or in conflict with other vested interests, thus imposing undue costs for adjudication. The rights of individual residents as well as the majority cannot be abolished because an elected official shares an uncommon and unfounded opinion. A predominantly residential community being subject to probable devaluation and potential health hazards or conditions when the land use is illegal by its own storage needs, occupied with zoning that is not permissible, certainly makes this case in point. Until zoning is changed and state laws are amended, the all-inclusive proposal is in fact illegal. It would be very irresponsible and presumptive to spend the public's money on a project that may never in fact have state statutes amended to become legal. Once again, necessary to legalize the storage needs. It would impose a palpable and considerable hardship ultimately and could inflict harm on the citizens of Wyoming. In the United States Supreme Court case of PG&E versus State Energy Commission 461 U.S. 190, 1983, it was adjudicated that Section 255.24.2, California's moratorium, did not conflict with the 1954 Atomic Energies Act for purpose to develop the commercial use of nuclear power. Furthermore, this case law will undoubtedly be a source of legal standing on comparable grounds for rulings in the future. The case also determined that the promotion of nuclear power is not to be accomplished at all costs. Moreover, Congress has given the states authority to determine as a matter of economics whether a nuclear plant vis-a-vis a fossil fuel plant should be built. The court accepted California's avowed economic rather than safety purpose as rational for enacting Statute 255.24.2, and accordingly, the statute lies outside the federally occupied field of nuclear safety regulation. Since this council cannot in fact provide any factual economic benefits to the community or state of Wyoming at this time, certainly nothing beyond hypothetical speculation of Radiant's untested and experimental reactor design against the reality of existence undue cost burdens.
Rose, your time is up.
Did I have your time?
No.
Thank you. It would also. That's permissible, but in any other public forum, that's.
Oh,
permissible.
it's not. Your time is done. Sit down, please.
And from one member to another in public commentary.
Any other petitions or public comment? Going once, going twice. There's no repeats. Wait, have you been? Oh, you have been up. Sorry.
Jason Foley, and my friendship moved here to Barnum almost 2 years ago. I'm from Southeast Idaho. I'm a journeyman electrician. I spent 2 years or close to 2 years of my apprenticeship working at the Idaho National Laboratory, the INL site in Southeast Idaho. I have a lot of friends that work out there. So I have some experience working in a facility where the NRC, the DEQ, OSHA, and multiple other government, and I'm talking federal government agencies, deeply have their hands in these kinds of things. And Radiant would be the same, whether you know that or not, simply because it's dealing with nuclear fuel and spent fuel. I viewed Wyoming as the last bastion, a place to live where people believe in states' rights and not letting their power go to the federal government and federal government agencies. That's why I moved here. Safety, yeah, can nuclear be done safe? Yeah, it can, which is, if you've ever worked in a facility like that, there's a lot of overregulation that comes with these types of jobs with the NRC. They breed overregulation. And to be honest with you, I've seen firsthand how it can breed a culture of laziness. They call these people site slugs because they produce nothing. It's welfare. I'm not scared of nuclear because of the overregulation. This work can be done safely. I'm not completely against nuclear, but I don't want it 2 miles from the community that I just moved to. I hate to see Wyoming give up its rights to the federal government, and it will be to an extent. So I just wanted you to have my opinion. I'm wholeheartedly against having it 2 miles from my house. I'm not necessarily against it being in the state of Wyoming somewhere. I think there's better places to put it. And another thing that I'll say, and I've spoke with you a little bit about the safety concerns. Once the spent fuel gets into the casks, is it safe? Yeah, probably. But there's a lot of handling of that material that has to go on before it gets into the cask, for one. And I'm going to just say right now to anybody in this room, if you don't believe that there is health and safety risks of dealing with nuclear radioactive material and spent fuel, if you don't think those concerns exist, and if you don't think worst case scenarios are possible, it's ignorant and it's naive. That's all I have to say.
Any other petitions or public comment?
President, I'm just gonna read from this paragraph, so I'm gonna start on mine. Since this council cannot in fact provide any factual economic benefits to the community or state of Wyoming at this time, certainly nothing beyond the hypothetical of speculation of Radiant's untested and experimental reactor design and against the reality of unto cross burdens, I would also argue and conclude that to any reasonable person, those legalities and the non-consideration backed by the actions of this council could also be perceived as a lack of impartiality should the residents consider yet another conflict of interest by all or the majority of town council members of Barna. So now to mine. I want to compliment you on following up with the cement. I really appreciate that because I brought that to you. And if you need to drill holes in front of my house, go ahead. That's awesome that you've kept on with that. So I wanted to, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the Wyoming Business Council finally released their statement on the current grants that have been applied for. And so for Radiant, it says the project name is Radiant Microreactor Utility Infrastructure Project. Project details, it's requesting 25 million to extend water, sanitary sewer, storm sewer lines to serve the new Radiant facility, as well as 584 acres of developable land. The project will also feature a new entry road, parking lot, and office building that will be leased to Radiant. So that's off of their official thing, if you haven't seen that. So my question is, are you aware that if a facility like this is built and because there is no national repository for fuel, the fuel will have to stay there, right? And if they go bankrupt, the facility will not be able to be repurposed because of the spent fuel. It will be considered contaminated. So if this project is built and it does not work out, your prosperity and being able to go north, there won't be any. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment?
Thanks, Gregor.
We're gonna hear about twice tonight.
Where's a goddamn paint truck?
I knew.
I want to talk to you guys. I've been coming to these town council meetings for a little over 10 years. I can count on my hand the number of meetings I've missed. Patrick Ford can attest to that. When we were in the old town council hall, there'd be maybe 2 people, maybe 3 at a town council meeting. That would be it. Me, my wife, maybe 1 other. That was all. Unless there was a snowfall the night before. then there'd be 2 or 3 people complaining about the snow plow. It only came when there was an issue. They had a personal issue, then they would show up. They wouldn't show up any other time. They wouldn't show up to support Patrick Ford or the mayor behind me now. Just didn't. I congratulate you all for showing up now. When they were talking about building this building, they said we want to do 45 to 50 seats in this chamber. I said, what are you out of your mind? We need 5. We don't need 50. Nobody comes to these meetings anyway. Now we have an issue. Once we get past this issue, whatever happens, I challenge all of you to come to town council meetings. Fill these chairs again. Don't only come when you have a concern or a complaint. Come when these folks might get pinched, I don't know. But come and support your town, pro or con. Show you care. Show you give a damn when things are going well and when they're going bad, not just when it's bad. I believe, I could be mistaken, when Mayor Boyer ran for office after the great Patrick Ford resigned, I think he ran unopposed because not one of these people in this community wanted that damn job. Can I blame them? No way. I wouldn't run. They asked me to, believe it or not. But I said, my seat is harder to fill than that one. Because I came to the town council meetings and listened to the town council and what they wanted to do and what they didn't want to do. I wanted my opinion to be heard, pro and con. So if you're just going to come in here and complain all the time, you can do that. You can beat these guys up and beat them up and beat them up. But once the Radiant thing gets issued or dealt with, come on back. We may have a new mayor, I don't know, but show support, pro and con. Thank you. That's up to you.
Right. Any other petitions of public comment? Going once, going twice. Nope.
Hi, my name is Kathy Carr. I don't live in the city of Vernon. I used to live on Blair Lane and now I live north of Casper. I would like to say that I've seen a lot of point of views tonight. And I ask you guys for one thing. I think there needs to be more meetings. There needs to be more education. And I hope that you give it to everybody because it doesn't affect just Vernon. It will affect us that live north. It affects those that live south. So please give us more education. Give us more point of views and keep up your good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other petitions or public comment? Going once, going twice, sold. Councilman Zabrowski, you have the floor, sir. If you could give us a report on regional water.
Regional water today meets monthly. Again, for those that are unaware of what regional water is, it's a way to kind of make a point, maybe some clarification on where we get our water out here. I've had people call or message me concerned about poisoning our water with nuclear radiation. We do not have wells out here. The water we get comes from the regional water plant down off the Platte River. During the summer, we pull off the river and our well field. During the winter, we pull off the well field. That's all down there by Fort Casper. So it's far away from our source isn't here even near the town. The meeting today was pretty simple and fast. There wasn't much business, just typical, kind of what we went through with our reports here, financial reports, attorney reports and stuff like that. So nothing significant. The average water intake and sales throughout the county between the 9 customers that buy from regional is steady Eddie. We're not hurting, and that's about it from regional water.
It was a pretty simple meeting this time.
Yep.
Right.
Major projects coming down the path, Dan.
The major one that's still out there that keeps inching its way forward is a major overhaul of the disinfectant system that was put on regional water some years back by the EPA. So we're looking to upgrade to a am I saying this wrong? Is it infrared?
Violet?
What is it? Ultraviolet system, which pretty significant cost, but it'll be a good upgrade. Still a year or 2 out.
That save us from having to put a bunch of bleach in the water. Chlorine.
I believe all of our testing is in pretty good order. I mean, they test down there, and then Dustin, you test out here, so.
Yes,
Yeah, pretty good.
Right on.
Just wanted to get Dustin back.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll put it in there. I just gotta test it.
And that brings us to our last part of the evening. I would entertain a motion to exit regular session and enter executive session.
So moved.
Motion and second, or I need a second.
Second.
Motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Roll call, yeah.
Peter Boyer, Mayor,
Present.
Dan Zabrowski, Council,
Present.
Stephen Clark, Council,
Present.
Tim Picken excused, Tyler Martin, Council.
Present. Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Do we need to say no,
No actions taken.
needed?
No actions were needed, so.
No action needed, and I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion Ed's out.
Oh,
You two,
got it.
Tyler, you did your 1 second tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?